our fellow Americans.
Right now, the COVID-19 vaccines are available to millions of Americans.
And soon, they will be available to everyone.
The science is clear. These vaccines will protect you and those you love from this dangerous and deadly disease.
They could save your life.
So we urge you to get vaccinated when it's available to you.
That's the first step to ending the pandemic and moving our country forward. It's up to you.
Coping with COVID with Tre Tailor. Updates on the pandemic and information to help you thrive and survive COVID-19. Brought to you by SCDHEC. Visit scdhec.gov for testing and vaccination sites. SCDHEC. Healthy people, healthy communities. In it together, SC and the South Carolina Diabetes Advisory Council presenting Wellness Wednesday every week on Coping with COVID. The City of Columbia Office of Business Opportunities, helping to meet the needs of small, minority, and women-owned businesses in the City of Columbia. Agape Counseling and Training Services. If you're having a challenge coping with COVID, visit Agape Counseling and Training Services at agapects.com. The Comet Bus System, offering free rides to get your COVID vaccine. Don't miss your shot. Visit catchthecomet.gov. Javis Financial Services, with over 20 years of experience. Computers Unique, Dutch Square Mall. Honest, professional, reliable computer sales and service. Palmetto Media Connections, connecting media and communities together. Coping with COVID from SCDHEC. In it together, SC, the South Carolina Diabetes Advisory Council, the City of Columbia Office of Business Opportunities, Agape Counseling and Training Services, the Comet Bus System, Javis Financial Services, Computers Unique, and Palmetto Media Connections.
Coping with COVID with Tre Tailor.
Happy Thursday, and thank you so much for joining us on Coping with COVID. I am Tre Tailor, and today, with the tax deadline looming, it's Monday, did you know? We are going to talk with the folks at Javis Tax Service. April Harris, who is a senior tax advisor with Javis Tax Services, is going to tell us everything we need to know about this last-minute tax deadline. That's coming up next, but first, your COVID community updates. University of South Carolina President Bob Carlson has resigned this a week after concerns and questions over several things he did during last weekend's graduation, including not giving credit to a quote he made and calling University of South Carolina University of California. Carlson's resignation is in effect as of today, and the person he replaced, Harris Pastides, will be the interim president until a permanent one is confirmed. Lexington Medical and Prisma Health will now vaccinate children 12 and up. This after the Pfizer vaccine was approved by the CDC. Now, a parent or guardian must accompany the child and sign a consent form for the child to receive the vaccine. And Amazon is hiring. They've got 75,000 job openings for delivery drivers and warehouse workers in several cities. The pay is at least $15 per hour, and they have several sign-on bonuses of up to $1,000, including $100 for those who are vaccinated. For more information, visit amazon.jobs.com. SCDHEC has your most up-to-date list of times, dates, and location for COVID vaccines, also COVID testing, and also flu shots in and around South Carolina. Visit scdhec.gov for more information. Now, if you want information about getting tested, you can actually visit gogettested.com. There you can make an appointment, find locations and results in 48 hours. The DHEC Care Line is still open and available for information about testing, vaccines, and transportation to get a test or to organize a COVID screening at your event or in your neighborhood. Now, speaking of transportation, if you live in Richland or Clarendon counties, paramedics there are offering in-person COVID screening. Call 911 for more information. Now, COVID vaccines, as you know, are being held throughout the state. Please check the scroll at the bottom of the screen throughout the show. We've got all of those locations scrolling at the bottom of the screens. We're going to highlight a couple right now. COVID vaccines are being held at Lexington Medical Center, also at Benedict College, and of course, the one at Columbia Place Mall. Many of these are walk-in clinics now. You don't even have to make an appointment. So stop by and get your COVID vaccine. Now, if you are a veteran, all veterans are being taken care of at the VA. You can see that information on the screen. Please contact the VA via phone or via email to schedule your COVID vaccination. Kroger pharmacies are also offering COVID vaccinations throughout the state of South Carolina. Check the screen for details. Also, CVS is offering COVID vaccinations, and that includes the CVS locations inside Target stores. Now, if you are having some challenges making an appointment, if you want to make an appointment, Get Set Up is giving free classes for seniors to help them make their vaccine appointment. You can see that information on the screen. Contact Get Set Up for more information. Now, don't let transportation prevent you from getting your COVID vaccine. Don't miss your shot. You can catch the Comet to get your COVID vaccine, and you can catch the Comet for free to do that. Now, the Comet also has a vaccine clinic. They're open Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. You can see that information on the screen. So if you are at the main location for the Comet bus system, you can get your vaccination there. Now, FEMA is giving reimbursements for funeral expenses for those folks who passed away due to COVID. Go ahead and access that phone number or that website to see if you qualify. Richland County Rental Assistance Program is still open and available to provide rental and bill assistance. They still have monies available. And SC Housing has not only a rental and bill assistance program available, they are helping frontline workers buy a home for the first time. So again, you can see that information on the screen. SC Bar Association and SC Legal Services have a free number and website for rental and mortgage help. And the City of Columbia are continuing their 6-month payment plan for water bills and payment assistance up to 75%. The Affordable Care Act open enrollment is through August 15th. As we heard Rosalind Goodwin with the South Carolina Hospital Association tell us a couple of weeks ago, not only is it a good time for you to enroll if you don't have insurance, but even if you do have insurance under the ACA, there are additional benefits available. So you may want to go and reapply to see if you can take advantage of the additional benefits. DSS Seniors Farmers Market is has opened up applications for senior citizens ages 60 and older to get $25 in the form of $5 checks to spend on fruits and vegetables. And finally, Palmetto AIDS Life Support is celebrating their anniversary with a virtual auction. You can see the information on the screen. It's a Sunday, June 6th and Monday, June 7th. Coping with COVID is being broadcast live on the Tailor Made production page on Facebook. Would you please go over there and hit follow and like so you can not only watch Coping with COVID Monday through Saturday, you can also get all of your COVID related updates. We're also streaming live on YouTube. I want to say hi to all of you YouTubers. Thank you so much for joining us. And also please hit the subscribe button while you're on YouTube. But also we have a presence on Instagram and also on Twitter. Now, I don't see our guest in yet. Let me see. Do I see our guest in? Lauren, do you see him? Hear her?
No, she's not there. I thought I had to come on.
Lauren, first of all, I'm shocked you came on.
Hey, you was bringing me out.
Lauren, I'm shocked you even came on the screen because you never want to come on the screen.
Right, right.
So we're supposed to be joined by Senior Tax Analyst April Harris with Javis Tax Services. And listen, I can't tell you nothing about your taxes, so you know what I can do? Sana Garrett with BCT Tax Services was supposed to join us, and she actually sent me some questions that I could ask her. And what I can do maybe is go through those questions. But we're going to take a quick commercial break, see if we've got some comments. Let me check and see who we got. Hey there, Barbara Bowman is tuned in. Hey there, Barbara. Thank you so much for joining. Matthias Copeland says, hey to you, Lauren. And he says, good morning. Good morning, Matthias. Thank you so much for joining us. You know, Lauren always asks me, well, what are we going to do if the guest doesn't show up? Listen.
What are we going to do?
Well, in the past, you and me have just talked. Well, listen.
Well, like you, I don't know anything about taxes other than the deadline is May 17th.
Right.
Is it May 17th? Okay.
It is. It's Monday. It is Monday. Yep. It's Monday.
And for those who have not filed their taxes, shame on you, like myself.
Me too. I haven't filed. But Lauren, are you going to owe?
That's why I'm not filing right now.
Oh, I think somebody's down there, Lauren. I think somebody's
She is?
There. Well, I see somebody.
Yep, she's there. Okay, I'm going to pop.
All right. All right. So I think we do have our guest in. Hey there, April. Can't hear you. You're on mute. So 'tis the season to do your taxes, and due to COVID, the deadline has been extended. You've got until May 17th, which is Monday, to file. April Harris, who is a senior tax advisor with Javis Financial Services, joins us. April, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. A couple of things. If I can have you, and I hate to do this, that's why we ask guests to log on early. Do you have an additional light source? And you've got a lot of headroom. Can you? I don't know what type of, I don't know what you're on, if you're on a laptop or a desktop, but.
Actually, we have a tablet.
Okay. Well, listen, let's go to it. I'm gonna, maybe you can, maybe during the commercial break, we can get you straight. Thank you, first of all, so much for joining us on Coping with COVID. We appreciate you.
Thank you for having us. We appreciate being on the show.
Absolutely. So listen, do you need to file by May 17th if you do not owe?
If you do not owe, you do need to file. We do encourage, if you're not ready to file, we do encourage all taxpayers to file an extension.
So even if whether you owe or not, you should file an extension.
You should file an extension. That is an extension to file, not an extension to pay, but you will avoid penalties for late filing. If you do owe, you still have penalties and interest for filing late, but it will cover you for not filing at all.
Okay. All right. So what do you do to file an extension if you are not ready, if you don't think you're going to be ready by Monday? And as you said, you need to do it whether you think you're going to owe or not. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
So you can file an extension. Our office does file extensions. We do file them electronically, so you don't have to go wait in long lines at the post office. Extensions are only $50. That covers the federal and the state.
Okay. And then can you do it yourself, or do you have to go to a tax provider?
You can do it yourself. You do. But again, we do encourage you to go to a professional. That way it can get done electronically. But you can file an extension. The extension form is on the IRS website. All
right. So if you want to file it yourself, you can go to the IRS website and file the extension. Is that correct?
Correct.
Now,
correct.
Does
the
that
form is called a 4868.
4868. File a 4868 if you want to file an extension for yourself. Now, April, of course, is saying she feels like you should let a professional do it because you can do it electronically. But if someone does it themselves, they'll do it manually, like download the form, fill it out, and take it to the post office.
Correct.
All right. Does it still cost $50, April?
No, ma'am. The form is free. You can fill out the form, download the form, and print it off for free. The reason we say go to a professional and do it electronic because, we got so much issues with the mail. Mail is not running on a timely manner. Mail is so backed up. And the IRS still has numerous amount of crates of mail that still you have to go through.
Right. May 17th is the tax deadline, and we're talking to April Harris. She is a senior tax advisor with Javis Financial Services. So, April, what happens if a person doesn't file an extension?
Then you're considered late. The tax, and there is a penalty and interest. And it's going to go according to the adjusted gross income.
And that is, and again, I just want to kind of reiterate this. That's whether you owe or not. So
Correct.
If you don't owe, you still have to pay something?
If you don't owe, you still need to file an extension because they gave us until the 17th. So if you don't file by the 17th, of course, that means the tax return is late.
Yeah. But again, my question is this. Even if you don't owe, you'll have to pay something.
If you don't owe, you're still going to be paying because you're filing late.
Okay. I just want to get that straight. So how will some of that stimulus money affect people's tax returns?
So the stimulus money is basically... when you fill out your tax return, it's going to ask you, have you received the stimulus money? The stimulus money is not being taxed. They just need to know if you haven't gotten it so that you can include it into the refund for 2020.
Okay, so, now you said two things. So let me check. First of all, you're saying if you got the money, say, yes, I got the money.
Yes, you got the money and the amount of money that you did receive.
Okay, stop. Let's stop there. put that you have the money, the amount of money you did receive. Now, do you have to bring your tax preparer, whomever, any paperwork? Because some people did get some letters saying you got this money. Do you need that paperwork or no?
Paperwork is not needed.
Okay.
There's some people who received the money still haven't gotten the letters, but
Right.
they have gotten the income, the money for the stimulus.
Now, you're also saying, I hear you say, if you didn't get the money you thought you deserved, put that down there too?
So it's going to ask you the question, did you receive your first stimulus and how much it was?
Okay.
And it's going to ask the question, did you receive the second stimulus and how much did you receive? If you did not receive the income, the stimulus money for all of your money the first time around, or all of your money the second time around, it's going to get calculated into your refund.
Oh, great. So you're saying let them know how much you did or didn't get, because your refund will reflect the amount of money you were supposed to get.
Correct. So if you were due 12 and you only got 6, it's going to calculate that remaining 6 into your refund.
Okay, that's great. That's great to know. Great to know, April. April Harris joins us from Javis Financial Services. She's talking to us about our income taxes. May 17th is the deadline. And April just said something that I really want you to hear. If you've got to put down on your tax returns that you got your stimulus check, but if you didn't get as much as you think you deserve, because I know the first time I didn't get the money for the kids, and I was like, oh, I didn't get no money for the kids. But she's saying you should put that down there, or put what you did get, because your refund will include the money that you didn't get.
Correct.
April, that's good to know. Now, so it's not, so you're saying, so the money is not being calculated as income though. So it's not going to count against you.
It's not counting against you. You do not have to pay taxes on that stimulus money.
Awesome. Now, what about all this unemployment insurance that people got? People got a lot of uninsurance, because of all of these federally funded programs.
Okay, well, because once the American Resource Plan got signed into place by the Biden administration, they're going to exclude the first $10,200 of the unemployment. So if you didn't get $10,200, then none of that money is going to be taxed. But if you did receive it, only $2,100 of the money is going to be taxed. The rest, the anything over the $10,200 will be taxed.
All right. So $10,200, anything over $10,200 will be taxed. So if you didn't get but $10,200, then you're fine. But as you said, you still need to report it, and you should get a W something.
It's going to be a 1099-G.
1099.
We do see where a lot of people did not report the unemployment for whatever reason. They didn't want to report the income. They thought they were going to be getting away with it. And it's going to hold your tax refund up. We got a lot of people out there that filed ever since February, and they still haven't received the refunds. And then but everything being so backed up, it's hard to get around to the department that is going to make the adjustment. So it's taking a little bit longer than usual. So it's very important. If you don't have that 1099-G, you can always log on to your unemployment portal, go into the bottom left hand of the page, and you'll see a form called 1099-G. Make sure you turn that into your tax preparer.
All right. So you're saying that you've got to turn in, you've got to report your unemployment, because listen, they know you got it. The fact that you don't turn it in, they ain't gonna say, oh, okay, my bad, we didn't think you got. The IRS knows everything. They know you got it. And all you're doing, according to April with the Javis Financial Services, is you just delaying your refund, because now they've got to go through it. And between everybody else's taxes and all of the stimulus stuff, the IRS ain't got time to deal with all that.
They get pushed to the side, baby. They get pushed to the side.
They're just doing the easy stuff first. And if you got a problem, like, oh, we got to wait for that for a minute. That's so interesting. That's interesting. Yeah. So
they've been waiting since February.
Wow. April Harris joins us. She's a senior tax advisor with Javis Financial Services. Give her a call if you want more information. We've been talking about the May 17th tax deadline. What about PPP money? A lot of businesses got those PPP loans.
So that PPP money is not taxable. That's done through the SBA, the Small Business Administration. Actually, the PPP money is ran out. They are still giving it to small business owners. To my understanding, it's going to be minority-owned business, but the big corporations, they ran out. So that money has been frozen already for. But if you already have an application in, we do encourage you to just finish out your application, finish providing whatever documents that may be missing, because if you're in already, then you're safe.
Okay, but you still have to, if you are filing business taxes, I guess, you've got to add that in there?
No, ma'am, that you're not reporting that money on your tax return.
Okay.
You are going to report whatever expenses that the company may have had on the business return, but you don't have to include the money that you got from SBA.
All right. Now, April, are there any new tax laws we need to be made aware of right now?
Right now, the major thing right now is getting the extra money for the kids.
And tell us about that. What's this extra money for kids?
So the kids are going to be getting an advanced child tax credit payment. They're going to be getting that money around $300 a month
per child.
Per child.
Under what age?
They are still working on it. 17. They are still working on it. They're coming up with the form. I believe the form is going to allow you to either get it monthly or get it in one big lump sum.
Okay. Now, do you have to do something special in particular? What do you have to do to get that money?
As long as you file your 2020 tax return and they calculate the information, then that's all you need to do.
All right. And then do you know when it will start coming?
It was originally supposed to have started already. Then they pushed it back to July. I'm not sure if they're going to push it back any further. And the reason for the pushback is because they're dealing with stimulus and tax returns, and then trying to deal with the credit all at the same time. It's a little bit much on the plate for the Internal Revenue Service.
Right. Now, kids are a tax break. Your mortgage is a tax break. Are there any other tax breaks that you can get, April?
I'm not aware of any other tax breaks right now. It's either going to be the child tax credit, and then of course you got your rental assistance going on for the American plan right now, the ARP plan. That's pretty much it for right now. The unemployment got extended, but that's going to be ending on the 30th of this month, because South Carolina is going to pull back from that. So just get prepared and get yourselves ready. I do believe that this extra $300 that they're going to be getting per qualified child is going to help a lot of households.
Oh, I think so too. Now, let me ask you this, April, and I don't know if you know the answer to this. Will this affect folks that are getting like TANF or any food stamps or anything like that?
It will not. We also encourage individuals who were receiving Social Security, because if you were getting Social Security, you automatically got the stimulus. But if you were getting Social Security and you didn't have to file a tax return and you had kids, then you didn't get the stimulus money for the kids.
Right.
So we encourage individuals who were getting Social Security to still file a tax return, put the Social Security, put your dependents. So now you're able to get your stimulus for the kids as well as get your kids' information in so that you can get the $300 tax credit for the children.
All right. This is April Harris. She is a senior tax advisor with Javis Financial Services. April, Barbara has a question. She wants to know, she says she's waiting for her refund. She filed her taxes March 2nd. And she included her 1099-G on line 30, added her $600 because she had not received that initial stimulus, and she's still waiting for her refund.
Okay, so again, those are going to be some long wait times. What we do see a lot of is if you moved in the midst of last year and this year and your stimulus got mailed, you actually got it. You may have, we consider you got it, but you may have gotten it indirectly. So the Internal Revenue Service system shows that they sent you the money, but in case you move, you didn't receive the money, you didn't report a new address to them, so the money either got sent back or got destroyed.
Oh,
So
wow.
now they have to. So if that is the case, we do encourage Miss Barbara to call the Internal Revenue Service. It's going to be a tough time to get through them, but the number is 1-800-829-1040. And if that is the case, then they'll send her a refund tracer form, issue her refund without including the stimulus, and do a tracer form for the stimulus that the computer says she did get, but she didn't receive.
Now, Barbara says she didn't move. She's just waiting. She said she didn't move.
The wait time is extremely backed up.
Wow, even for February, because March. I think she said yeah.
Yeah, we have individuals who are just receiving refunds from February transmissions.
Mm-hmm.
So it's usually it's 21 business days, but right now we're just letting folk know it may be 45 to 60 days before you can get your refund.
I'll tell you, last year my refund came. It was like, because I can't remember what it was. It was a long time, and it was like days before. Like if they didn't do it by, I think it was 5 months. Like what is it? What is it, April? They have to pay you in what?
They pay you interest. Now people think they're going to get a whole bunch for interest, but I'm going to be honest. Interest is they owed me interest last year, and my interest was for $12.89.
Right, and that's what I was going to say. It was like 2 or 3 days before it would have started being interest, and then it was deposited. So it took me a long time, Barbara, last year. And I think with, as you said, April, all of the things that are going on. I mean, we've got all of the stimulus money, all of this extra stuff on the tax folks. Plus, they were quarantined too. They weren't in their offices either.
They were not. That Kansas City office was completely shut down for a very long time. And we do, I remember back when they first came back, because we have people that did amendments, and they had so much mail. So mail was being storage in crates, in trailers.
God almighty, girl.
Around to it. So you have to imagine people from all over sending mail. Imagine how much mail that is. They still yet have to go through.
Yeah. This is April Harrod. She's a senior tax advisor with Javis Financial Services. The tax deadline is May 17th, boys and girls. So if you haven't filed your income taxes, thank you, Barbara. If you haven't filed your income taxes, you need to do it. And according to April, you need to at least file an extension, because whether you owe or not, if you don't file your extension, then you will also...
penalties and interest is going to be there.
Yeah, absolutely. You'll have that penalties and interest. So I'm going to ask you one more question, then we're going to take a quick break, April. What about married but filing separately? What are the advantages or disadvantages of that?
It's going to be some disadvantages to that, because you lose credits when you do married filing separately. When you do married filing separate, if one spouse is itemizing, then the other spouse will need to itemize as well. So it's going to be lots of penalties. So if you can do a married filing joint, a lot of people don't prefer if one or the other has a bill, but you instead of doing a married filing separate, then you can do an injured spouse to cover you for the person that has the bill, and still get your refund and not lose the credits.
Okay. All right. What about business taxes? Should people file their business taxes separately than their personal taxes?
The business taxes go on a Schedule C, or you can do a business tax return. It depends on the way that the business is structured. Some people are set up as 1065's partnership, as corporation, corporate tax returns. If you're set up that way, then you will pull your K-1 into your personal return. But if you're not set up that way, and you just LLC and a basic LLC, then you do a Schedule C tax return, and that return is included on the personal tax return.
All right. We're talking to April Harris. She is a senior tax advisor at Javis Financial Services. When we come back, we're going to talk about your receipts and information, what you need to keep, what you need to pull together. Also, if you're a freelancer, what to do if you can't afford to pay your taxes. What if you make a mistake after you file? And what happens if you get audited? We're trying to get you up and running so you can get ready to file your taxes by May 17th. That's Monday, boys and girls. And we're going to talk about that when we come right back. And then April, we're going to get you with Lauren, our producer, to see if we can kind of get you not looking like you're way down here. All right, we'll be right back on Coping with COVID. I'm Tre Tailor. Thanks for joining us.
Coping with COVID, updates on the pandemic and information to help you thrive and survive COVID-19. It's brought to you by SCDHEC. Visit scdhec.gov for an updated list of testing and vaccination sites and info to help protect yourself, your family, and friends from the coronavirus. SCDHEC, healthy people, healthy communities. In It Together SC and the South Carolina Diabetes Advisory Council presenting Wellness Wednesday every Wednesday on Coping with COVID. The City of Columbia Office of Business Opportunities, helping to meet the needs of small, minority, and women-owned businesses in the City of Columbia. Visit columbiasc.net/OBO. Agape Counseling and Training Services. Call 803-779-2777 for licensed professionals of counselors and social workers helping families, engaged and married couples, and individuals of all ages gain an understanding of all aspects of their lives. If you're having a challenge coping with COVID, visit Agape Counseling and Training Services at agapects.com. The Comet Bus System, a fast, fun, friendly transit system that can take you anywhere you want to go in the Midlands. So don't miss your shot. Catch the Comet and get a free ride to get your COVID vaccine. Visit catchthecomet.gov. Javis Tax Services, South Carolina's premier full-service financial provider with over 20 years of experience. Palmetto Media Connections, connecting media and communities together. And Computers Unique, Dutch Square Mall. Call Daniel for honest, professional, reliable, and knowledgeable computer sales and service. Coping with COVID from SCDHEC. In It Together, the South Carolina Diabetes Advisory Council, the City of Columbia Office of Business Opportunities, Agape Counseling and Training Services, the Comet Bus System, Palmetto Media Connections, Javis Financial Services, and Computers Unique.
Coping with COVID with Tre Tailor.
When it comes to you, I have all anything, money, finances, access to. That's what pay your money, Javis Tax Services. Only tax driver, Javis Tax Services. What's up, coming to you, Javis Tax Services. Handling your money out of our Javis Tax Services. Now you know what to do.
Visit Javis Tax Service today, 803-419-1001.
The Comet gives me a reliable source of transportation.
It's very convenient to me, and they have wonderful drivers.
It's clean and it builds community. It's fun to meet people.
It makes me feel like really independent. It's just fun.
It's always going to be there and gets me everywhere I need to go.
We try to ride every single day. Comedy is our livelihood.
You can eat what's good to you and good for you, too.
Yes.
Get the Dash for Southern Soul Cookbook free. All you have to do is ask. It's packed with delicious Southern-style recipes with a healthy twist.
Yummy.
You won't be able to taste the difference, but you will be able to feel the difference.
Yeah.
Inbox your email address to the In It Together or Tailor Made Productions Facebook page, and you'll get it straight to your mailbox. The Dash for Southern Style Cookbook and a Coping with COVID face mask. From In It Together SC, the Diabetes Advisory Council of South Carolina, and Coping with COVID.
Coping with COVID with Tre Tailor.
Right now, the COVID-19 vaccines are available to millions of Americans, and soon they will be available to everyone.
This vaccine means hope. It will protect you and those you love from this dangerous and deadly disease.
I want to go back to work, and I want to be able to move around.
To visit with Michelle's mom, to hug her and see her on her birthday.
You know what I'm really looking forward to is going to opening day in Texas Ranger Stadium with a full stadium.
We've lost enough people and we've suffered enough damage.
In order to get rid of this pandemic, it's important for our fellow citizens to get vaccinated.
I'm getting vaccinated because we want this pandemic to end as soon as possible.
So we urge you to get vaccinated when it's available to you.
So roll up your sleeve and do your part.
This is our shot.
Now it's up to you.
Computers, they're a part of our everyday life. But when they're not working, they're an everyday problem. So call Computers Unique, your everyday solution. 803-351-5821. Is your computer running slow? Won't turn on? Do you need a screen replaced? Or maybe you just need another computer? Well, Computers Unique is your one-stop shop for all your computer needs. They have a wide variety of new and pre-owned PCs, Macs, and tablets. So call Computers Unique, Dutch Square Mall. 803-351-5821. 803-351-5821.
Thank you so much for joining us on Coping with COVID, updates on the pandemic and information to help you thrive and survive COVID-19. I'm Tre Tailor. Hey, don't forget to go over to the Tailor Made Production page on Facebook. That's the home of Coping with COVID. Please like and share and follow so you can watch Coping with COVID Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday at 2 p.m. And also on First Monday with George Wallace. We're going to have a great time. We've got some great stuff coming up for you, so we can't wait to present to you great new shows. Hey, don't forget too that we're also streaming live on YouTube. Please go over to YouTube and hit the subscribe button, and we'd love to have you there. I'm Tre Tailor, and we are talking about the May 17th, that's right, Monday, tax deadline. The IRS has extended the tax deadline, and we've been talking to April Harris. She's a senior tax advisor with Javis Tax Service, and we're going to, I think, join Kadenia Javis with Javis Tax Service. I'm not sure.
Hey, Tre.
Now, girl, you know we can't talk. The light's got to be in front of you. Yeah,
Yes.
light's in front of you.
Yes.
All
You need to be in
right.
front, April, right there.
All right. Hey there, darling. Thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you. Glad to be
Absolutely.
here.
I know it's
Yeah.
a busy time for you, so I appreciate you, taking time out of your busy day to talk to us about all of this stuff that we need to know. April did a great job. She didn't look like she wanted to, but she did a great job.
Duty call. She's second in command. She did great. She did great.
She really did great. So she told us a little bit, just to recap what we talked about, which is one of the most important things, I think, that whether or not you owe, you still need to file an extension.
That is true. That way you're not hit with a failure to file penalty, because there's a failure to file penalty as well as a failure to pay penalty. And there's a misconception that if you owe and you file the extension, well, you don't have to pay until October 17th. And that is not true. So if you have a taxable liability, you really need to go. If you don't have it all to send on May 17th this year, then you need to apply for an installment agreement, which is Form 9465. And that form will tell you what the minimum payment that the IRS will accept. And you'll be amazed. You may owe $5,000 and they may accept $55 a month. Of course, you know that Of course, you know you're paid off the unpaid balance. So there's penalty, there's interest that's added on to your unpaid balance. But at least you're getting that payment in, and you're alleviating failure to file penalties and failure to pay penalties.
All right. So you need to file, because I thought that was interesting. You said that you could get hit with a failure to file penalty, even if you don't owe.
Now, if you don't, no, I have to correct you on that one. Now, if you're getting a refund, the IRS, you'll never have to claim it.
Okay. All right. Okay. I just want to make sure. Yeah. Because they ain't trying to give you the money anywhere, right?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, if you're getting a refund, if you're getting a refund, you have 3 years from the tax deadline to try to recoup the refund that is due you. Now, if it's after past 3 years, the statute of limitations is gone, then it's kind of like you just gave the Treasury a nice interest payment. But now if you owe them, you definitely have to file that extension so that you're not hit with that failure to file penalty.
All right. So to reiterate, you've got to, if you think you're going to owe, you need to go ahead and not going to be ready by Monday. You need to go ahead and file a extension. You can do that through you. April said you guys can do it electronically, or people can do it on their own and go to the IRS website and download the information, sign it, and mail it. But with how the mail is going,
Yes. Well,
Yeah.
You're safe as long as it's post dated. Remember back in the day, you see those long lines on
I remember.
Assembly Street.
Oh, I remember. We used to do, little tax things at the radio station where we would help people, be in line and giving, putting it in the mailbox and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay. But yes, long as it's post dated by midnight on Monday, May the 17th, then you will be fine.
Okay.
But I encourage people, not to wait, because those lines are going to be longer, and they already are long now because they're shorter staffed at the postal services. So I would definitely go ahead and try to get it done this weekend. And we will be open on Saturday from 8 to 3. We're going to extend our hours a little bit on Saturday. Yes.
That's awesome. That's Kadenia Javis with Javis Tax Service. April joined us earlier. That's why you see April Harris on there. If you have questions, you can certainly contact the folks at Javis Tax Services. What happens, Kadenia, if you make a mistake after you file? If you say, oh, my bad, I think I put something wrong or something.
Then there's one or two things that are going to happen, Trey. One, the IRS is going to catch it. I promise you, they're going to catch it. It used to be that it took about 3 to 5 years to catch mathematical errors. Not anymore after they upgraded their systems. Or you can go ahead, because we already have people who was under the impression that they did not have to file their unemployment. So we're going to have to do an amendment. Even though the first $10,200 is non-taxable, most people received more than $10,200. If you got unemployment, from the beginning of the pandemic to December, you had about $25,000 in income. And so even though $10,200 of that is not taxable, you still have to file that. So some people went ahead and filed taxes to get stimulus and did not submit the unemployment form. And we weren't out there working with them. We don't know what everybody receives,
Right.
So we only can file what you bring into the office. We ask the questions, and some people's like, well, no, unemployment is not taxable. Just like some people think Social Security income is not taxable, and it isn't up until a certain financial, liability of the client and other resources that they may have with their retirement.
Oh, okay. So
an amendment. But an amendment can be filed, or you will receive a CP 2000, which is the number of the letter that the IRS will send you that says, when they ran the numbers, that you either had unreported income that was not reported, or that they found a mathematical data entry error. Because, we're human. Sometimes that you might hit a 9 instead of a 7, or a 7 instead of a 9. So they will fix it. I promise you, by June, you'll receive those letters.
Right. We're talking to Kadenia Javis with Javis Tax Services. We can get her information up. If you want more information, you can certainly give them a call. So what happens if you get audited, Kadenia?
Well, audits are not bad things, Trey. A lot of people don't like the word audit, and I understand, because that means that there's work and there's digging that you got to do, especially if you're not a good record keeper. Normally when the IRS, because I'm a former employee, when they do audits, it's normally an audit for the last 3 years. And, most people are not prepared. And that's why we tell you to keep your records for 3 to 5 years. But normally when they come for 3 years. And all they're doing is they want to see the records that you put on your tax return. So it's just checks and balances. If you put that your cell phone bill was $1,200 for the year, then you need to have that statement, or either you need to have canceled checks. And first and foremost, you have to have a business checking account if you have a Schedule C or business that you filed on that return. Now, on your personal return, your 1040, if you itemize that you gave $20,000 in contributions to your church, and people do that and more, you just need to have that statement from that nonprofit 501c that here's my, backup documentation, as well as they may ask for canceled checks as well.
Right, but you only need that if you're audited.
Well, yes, everything that you gave to your accountant, or if you did them yourself, there's a lot of DIYers out there that use TurboTax. They need to have that documentation as backup, because and when I say audits are not bad, when someone says I went to this person, I got audited, you were randomly selected unless there was some fraudulent activity that somebody has whistleblown. Because there are some kitchen tax preparers that think they know more than us that have went to school and learned the tax laws. So and when you inflate deductions, you're gonna get red flagged at some point in time. If you take a loss for more than 3 years out of 5, it tells you in publication 17 that is a hobby, that is not a job. So,
Okay.
right. And if you make $50,000 a year and you gave $35,000 to the church, really, but your mortgage is $2,000, then we need to come and audit you, because that means you have some unreported income, because your mortgage interest statement says your interest was $10,000. So how you gave the church 35? So
it doesn't add up.
It doesn't add up, and but like again, sometimes audits you randomly select it. But I will tell you, if you have a home-based business, a Schedule C, the likelihood out of your lifetime you will have an audit. And so just be ready, be prepared. If you got that business checking account, if you got QuickBooks, then it's just a matter of printing reports, and your audit will be over, and they will be done with you, and on to the next.
But Kadenia, let me just ask you this. You do that kind of thing too. You do bookkeeping for businesses, right? Because you know what? You sitting up here and my head's about to explode, because what you're saying is it sounds like you saying blah, 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 blah to me. You know what I'm saying? Because that's my brain doesn't work that way. So maybe I'm asking for me. Do you do you do that for businesses, right?
We do bookkeeping for businesses, getting them in compliance, ensuring that they're reconciling their income and expenses. And Trey, I know now with the being in the pandemic, with these, the different economic stimulus, PPP, the EIDL, everything that's up under this American Rescue Plan, you got to have your books in order. You got to have reports in order. When they send you back an email saying, hey, we got your application, now we need your general ledger, now we need your profit and loss statement. If you don't have it, then you're out of the number for getting funds that you could very well have gotten if you had only paid an accountant or a bookkeeper to keep your books in order.
And you're right. I think that really is one of the things that have come out, during this time, is that there are resources available, but you got to have your stuff in order. And it's okay if you don't know how to do it. Find somebody who does know how to do it.
Find somebody who does it. And as well as people with rental properties, a lot of investment properties. Again, there's economic rental assistance, emergency rental assistance for those landlords. But if those landlords, are not, again, keeping their records, they're just taking the funds from their tenants, but they're not having a record of it with the business checking account. Because even if you have rental property, that's a business.
Right.
You are a landlord. And so they could, refuse to give you monies for the rental assistance because you can't prove that it's being rented for profit. It's a profit or loss for a business.
Yeah. We're talking to Kadenia Javis with Javis Tax Services. She's telling us some things we need to know about this May 17th tax deadline. What about other paperwork? What other paperwork? What is the basic paperwork you need to be keeping up with and giving, whether you're doing taxes yourself or coming to someone like you who is a professional tax preparer?
Well, due to the CARES Act that Donald Trump enacted into law in December of 2017, which is a good thing. I like it because he doubled the standard deduction. And the standard deduction, so the standard deduction for a single person used to be $6,300. Now it's $12,500. For a head of household person, now it used to be 12,000 credits. Now it's 18,000 credits. So unless you have those amounts in itemized deductions, the standard deduction has been advantageous to the taxpayer.
Wow.
With the doubling of the standard, of the standard deduction. So now you don't have to keep up with your, if your mortgage is about paid off or it's a little low, you don't have to keep up with the receipts for the taxes that you paid on your cars, your boats, or your motorcycles, because that standard deduction is so high, it's doubled, that it is so much better for the taxpayer. So it's less documentation they have to keep up with. The IRS gives you this basic standard number. You take that, and then, if you have any other credits, student loan interest, or if you bought an energy efficient washer and dryer. Now there's an residential energy credit that you need to claim if you did that, a couple other things. But it kind of streamlined the process for us, especially for single people that didn't have dependents, where they used to owe, they used to owe maybe a couple $100. Now they receive a couple $100. So we didn't have to go in and make them adjust their withholdings on their W-4s.
Right. One last question I want to ask you. There are a lot of freelancers who are either being paid cash or no taxes are being withheld. How do those folks handle filing their taxes?
All right. So a lot of people, are using apps, Cash App or PayPal. And so pulling those reports and we bring them in about June. So if you had a tax bill of 2019 and you owed $10,000, your accountant should have sat down and talked with you and say, hey, we need to start making some estimated payments. You need to pay every quarter about $1,500 because you reduce your taxable liability percentage. Because when you wait till the end of the year, self-employment tax is 15.3% of the profits that you report on your tax return. So if you paying quarterly taxes, your rate is only 6.2%. So it's almost double. It is double when you wait until the end of the year like that.
Right,
so you need to, we would get on, we would calculate, put it in your budget of what your taxes are. And it's no different, Trey, from when we work on a W-2 job. They take our taxes out before we get our paycheck. It comes off the gross, we bring home the net. So it's no different. If you work and you make $500 a week, hey, let's take 100 of it and put aside for taxes. And then every quarter we'll send in a 1040V voucher, and it'll have our social on it, and they'll post that to our account per se at the IRS. Then when we file taxes, it asks you what estimated payments did you make. You put in what you made, and the numbers are just astronomically better, or the amount owed, and you may even get a refund because you may have overpaid. You may have, you may have overpaid because you may have either made less money, you may have made more money, or you may have had more expenses.
Right.
During the tax year.
So, and this is, of course, working with a professional like yourself. Is that something somebody can do on their own?
They can. The IRS.gov has made their payment system. They have definitely streamlined it and made it easy, as well as South Carolina Department of Revenue, which is SC Doorway. They've done the same thing, where you go out there and you create an account, just like you do when you ordering on Amazon. You got to log in and a password. You got to log in and a password for your tax account with the IRS and the Department of Revenue, and you got to do that for security reasons, because they got to verify your identity. But definitely too wanted taxpayers to know, if you did not receive all of your stimulus, that there is a recovery rebate credit form where they can get those monies back in their 2020 tax return. And some people have dependents that they may not have gotten it for, that they also could get it. So not wanting them to think, oh, it's over with, it's done with. No. We have until December of 2021 to get you those first and second stimulus payments.
And how do people need to go about doing that?
You got to file a 2020 tax return. And even if you do not work, as we said, some people think that they didn't make enough, because people tell you if you didn't make at least $12,000, if you didn't make at least the standard deduction, then there's no need filing your taxes. If you're in a cash business, well, because of the stimulus payments, you need to file. And they have what's called a non-filer tax return. reporting any of your income. We're just reporting the recovery rebate credit form that you did not get the $1,200, you did not get the $600, and once we file that 2020, it will trigger for you to get the $1,400. So that's $3,200 that is out there for all taxpayers that are U.S. Americans and have a Social Security number. Those are the only two requirements: U.S. citizen and Social Security number.
And again, this is if they either didn't get their stimulus or their stimulus was incorrect, less than what they thought it should be.
That is correct. That is correct. And you know, life happens, life changes, life events change, and they may have had a baby, or they may be now taking care of another dependent.
Right.
And dependents are not always children.
Right.
Dependents can be someone older and elderly and disabled. So there's stimulus payments for those persons as well.
Wow. That's great information to know, Kadenia, that if people can still get that stimulus money that can help them, as you say, whether it be a dependent, whether it's old dependent, young dependent, if you didn't get it, if you didn't get what you thought you could get, you can still file, but you got to file your taxes to get it.
Yes, you have to file a non-filer or your regular 1040 tax return for 2020. Right. And you know, they got some advanced EIC payment credits that are starting in July.
And so what is that?
That is, if you have a child age 6 and under, you'll receive up to $3,600 for the next 6 months. Or if the child is age 6 to 17, it's $3,000. So the government is going to give you, they're going to break up those payments. You will get between $300 to $500 per month for those qualifying dependents. And so what that is going to do is going to reduce the refund come January. So where if you're normally getting a, say, $5,000 refund, and now you've gotten $3,600 of the advance up, during the July to December. So now do not expect a $5,000 refund because you've gotten $3,600 of that prior to.
All right. So beginning in July, people who have dependents under 18, they'll start getting something, $300 per child, or you say $3,600 for 6 months, or $3,000 for 6 months.
It's either going to be $300 or $350, depending on the age of the dependent. And however you file those 2020 returns is how you're going to get those payments.
Okay.
So if you got direct deposit, it's going into your bank account. If you had a live check mail, then the checks will be mailed to the address you have on file. So make sure if you move, you update those addresses because the government does not like forwarding mail.
And it depends on if you claim them in your 2020 tax return. Is that correct?
You have to have claimed them because they are going by 2020 for those advanced earned income credit child tax credits.
All right. Wow. That's great information, Kadenia. Kadenia Javis with Javis Tax Services. Give her a call, 803-419-1001. She's located 7071 Two Notch Road, the only drive-through tax service. Javis Tax Service, a proud sponsor of Coping with COVID. Thank you so much for your support. And thank you so much. Again, like I said, I know it's a crazy time for breaking away, you and April, for coming on and giving us this information, but we really wanted to get this information out to people at this last minute. So thank you, Kadenia. I appreciate you, beautiful.
Thank you for your platform, darling. You have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
All righty. Kadenia Javis with Javis Tax Service. Please don't forget to give them a call or visit their website, and they will be glad to. There's the website, Javis Tax Service, and they will be glad to talk to you about what they can do, not only taxes, they also bookkeeping, payroll, accounting, and so much more. As you can see on the website, they're open year-round, and they also have their drive-through tax service. So check out Javis Tax Service. And don't forget, the deadline is Monday, May 17th. I'm Tre Tailor. Thank you so much for joining us on Coping with COVID. Listen, if you have a story or initiative that can help someone cope with COVID, please go to the Tailor Made Production page on Facebook and inbox me. We would love to talk to you about featuring you and your initiative on Coping with COVID. If you have a product or service that can help someone cope with COVID, please email copingwithtretailor@gmail.com. You can see the email address scrolling on the bottom of the screen, and we would love for you to be a proud sponsor of Coping with COVID, just like the South Carolina Department of Health and Environmental Control, In It Together SC, the Diabetes Advisory Council of South Carolina, the City of Columbia Office of Business Opportunities, Agape Counseling and Training Center, which, by the way, if you're having some challenges coping with COVID, contact the folks at Agape Counseling and Training Center, Palmetto Media Connections, Computers Unique, Dutch Square Mall, and also Javis Tax Services. As always, we leave you with a reading from Jesus Calling. Today is May 13th, and today Jesus says, "Thank me in the midst of the crucible." When things seem all wrong, look for growth opportunities. This is good. Especially look for areas where you need to let go, leaving your cares in my able hands, as Jesus says. Do you trust me to orchestrate your life events as I choose? Or are you still trying to make everything go according to your will? If you keep trying to carry out your intentions while I'm leading you in another direction, you're defying your desires. Be on the lookout for what I am doing in your life, Jesus says. Worship me by living close to me, thanking me in all circumstances. That was a good one. That's your Jesus Calling for today, Thursday, May 13th. Hey, tomorrow we're going to talk with vision impaired musician and author Tre Tailor. That's tomorrow on Coping with COVID. It's going to be a Faith Friday you won't want to miss, and she's going to sing for us too. Until tomorrow, I wish you peace, abundant blessings. Take care, stay well, be safe, and please get your vaccine and wear your mask over your nose and under your chin.
Coping with COVID with Tre Tailor. Updates on the pandemic and information to help you thrive and survive COVID-19. Brought to you by SCDHEC. Visit scdhec.gov for testing and vaccination sites. SCDHEC. Healthy people, healthy communities. In It Together SC and the South Carolina Diabetes Advisory Council presenting Wellness Wednesday every week on Coping with COVID. The City of Columbia Office of Business Opportunities, helping to meet the needs of small, minority, and women-owned businesses in the City of Columbia. Agape Counseling and Training Services. If you're having a challenge coping with COVID, visit Agape Counseling and Training Services at agapects.com. The Comet Bus System, offering free rides to get your COVID vaccine. Don't miss your shot. Visit catchthecomet.gov. Javis Financial Services, with over 20 years of experience. Computers Unique, Dutch Square Mall. Honest, professional, reliable computer sales and service. Palmetto Media Connections, connecting media and communities together. Coping with COVID from SCDHEC. In It Together SC, the South Carolina Diabetes Advisory Council, the City of Columbia Office of Business Opportunities, Agape Counseling and Training Services, the Comet Bus System, Javis Financial Services, Computers Unique, and Palmetto Media Connections.
Coping with COVID with Tre Tailor.